Safer gambling has been a cornerstone value of our group since a very long time ago. In fact, we have been one of the first operators having a full-time role in responsible gaming since 2007. And ever since, the focus on responsible gambling has only increased. And as someone who views themselves as a market leader in this aspect, we have continuously invested in this aspect of the operations, and with the increased focus on that, growing from year to year, we feel that this is one of the most important elements of the business nowadays. Naturally, the ones that have more experience, I think, have a better approach, obviously because they have been working in a regulated environment for a longer time, and they have gained more experience. Of course, the regulators and the markets that have just regulated last year or the year before, they will naturally have perhaps maybe a bit more flows or less structured regulation. So I think it's a matter of experience, both from an operator side that starts in a particular market, but also from the regulator side. And based on the cooperation between two, this is how the experience is gained in the market. And of course, the regulators that are the longest and the markets that are regulated for the long time, they have significantly more experience and more understanding of the matter. In my opinion, the most important factor will be the cooperation between operators and sharing the information, because we need to become more effective at blocking people who are vulnerable, blocking people who are at risk, and making sure we are eliminating people who suffer from gambling-related harms. Therefore, I think the cooperation in the future will be primarily around national self-exclusions and cooperation between the operators, making sure that people who have been identified are actually blocked completely throughout the industry, not just on the operator level. Well, it's quite clear that the legislation is becoming more and more strict towards the operators. More responsibilities put on the operators, and I would not expect this to change in the coming years. I think most of the regulators will follow this route, and that is why we, as an operator, are preparing ourselves to take more and more responsibility in that regard. Betsson Group has been one of the first operators that started offering digital tools online available 24/7 to all players, such as self-exclusions, deposit limits, reality checks, loss limits, self-assessment tests, and other tools. And of course, this is a part of our package ever since. On top of that, I think critical is to have customer service assistance 24/7 that is competent and well trained and ready to assist the players with any queries they have, whether it's in relation to problem gambling or slightly around this subject. But of course, otherwise, one of the focus areas that is on the agenda nowadays is, of course, the identification of players, the interaction with these players, and this is, of course, one of the main areas that we're focusing at. In my opinion, there is a lot of aspects that we could and should be focusing as a united industry, and they range from having collaborations when it comes to awareness and making sure that we are acting as a united front, making sure we share knowledge between each other, which is very important. So any conferences or any forums, any trainings, any knowledge sharing sessions are very important when it comes to responsible gaming and raising awareness, not just with wider public, but also between each other, and asking questions, challenging each other, helping each other with the materials, with the approaches. This is something we already do, but I'm sure we can develop this and act even more as one. I think we have come a really long way when it comes to innovating and creating new safety products for the market and for our players. The last 5 years, in that sense, have created a lot of growth and have shown what tremendous things the operators can achieve when they focus on the right things. In my opinion, the innovations that we will see in the future will be related to even quicker reactions by the operators, more real-time solutions, and more personalized solutions, which is more important. Otherwise, another aspect that where we will see innovations in the future is probably the cooperation between the operators, which is so needed at this time and will be even more needed in the future. Nowadays, it's quite clear that the regulators prefer to put the responsibility on the operators. We as a group are well prepared for that. We have several solutions, and we're investing heavily into having even more advancements in this area. So affordability has been on the agenda for a while now, and as things stand at this point, operators need to be prepared to handle this responsibility, because it's quite evident that everyone is expecting that this responsibility is now almost fully on the operators. When it comes to identification, we're focusing on 3 key areas. One of them is the prediction tool that we use in our work. This is an in-house solution that the Betsson Group has developed, and this is something that is helping us tremendously to identify players who may be at risk as early as possible. Otherwise, another aspect that we are very focused on is, of course, the manual work done by the staff that is monitoring the transactions, that is monitoring the patterns. And of course, we are also heavily investing in having our training programs as well developed as possible, and making sure that any staff that has any contact with player whatsoever is able to identify the smallest of the flags and escalate it properly to the teams that are in charge of reviewing these customers. So these 3 aspects, I believe, give us a comprehensive view on early detection when it comes to problem gambling and any signs that customers may be showing.